Talkin TNT with Conway.
Hello, beautiful people. It is I, Conway Fitzgerald. Welcome to another edition of Talking TNT with Conway. Well, summer is here, thank God, and I need to go outside and get some sun. On today's show, a never-before-seen behind-the-scenes look, Omissions, a new segment I'm calling On the Back Burner, a new quiz, and two very special guests. So for those of you uninitiated, you might be asking yourself,
What is this?
Well, this show is what I call the companion piece for the series. It's an opportunity for me to give you a little bit more insight, some inside scoops, and allow you to ask me some questions about the show. Welcome to all my new subscribers and my trusted OG listeners, and of course, a special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. For those of you who might have been on the fence with Patreon, or you thought, maybe if I could, help support a little bit, but not be, like putting it on the same level as my Netflix, I have just been upgraded at YouTube. So now you can tip my videos. There is what's called a thanks button. I don't think anybody's used it yet. So if you'd like to be the first, you can go ahead and smash that thanks button. And who knows? Google will probably take most of it, but maybe I'll get a buck. Of course, sharing is caring. Even, I know times are tough, man, and the money's funny. I can relate to that. So even if you can or choose not to support this show financially, I just want you to know your beautiful ears and listening are all I could ever ask for. Thank you. So I've been playing with the idea of doing some, behind the scenes, show you how the sausage is made kind of segments. And this is the first. This is my first attempt. I'm going to show you some of the Foley that I do. Now, Foley is when you create sound effects organically. Like if I wanted to have a piece of paper crunch, I could crunch a piece of paper in front of a mic, which is one of the ones that I use. So here's my first in a new segment called Behind the Scenes. Hi there, it's I, Conway Fitzgerald. Welcome to a special edition of what I'm calling Behind the Scenes. Today, I'm going to demonstrate the art of Foley. For those of you who don't know, Foley is named after a guy, I think a guy named Foley, and what it is creating sounds, custom sound effects that you need specifically for your particular production. So today, in order to do that, I'm going to need a bundle of paper, and I'm going to need a cup of water, a bowl, a towel, because I need to make sure I protect my equipment, and a whole lot of toothpaste. So the first thing I'm trying to capture is the scene where Stolkren thrusts the scroll with the summons from the governor into Sherman's chest. I'm going to take several goes at it and then hopefully pick the one that really works best. That ought to do. So this next one, as I mentioned, is going to be a lot more ambitious and also kind of dangerous to my equipment, so I really have to be careful. What I'm trying to create with this is when Ermine takes a potion that's supposed to protect her from poisons and sulfurics and things like that, it causes it to foam up in her mouth, and she spits it out and goes, yuck. So this is actually one where I'm going to be speaking a line that I'm going to use as well. So this is going to be a tricky one. So enjoy. Hopefully I get it right. Yuck! Okay, this time I'm using a lot less water. And also I'm gonna try to talk this way so I don't spit into the microphone. Yuck! Okay, this time I had to get it really foamy. And I'm gonna spit this way, not into the microphone. I think that would be better. I'm rolling. Yuck! Yuck! Well, one thing's for sure, my teeth have never been cleaner. So thanks everybody. This is just a demonstration of some of the sound magic that I do behind the scenes to try to give you a bigger, more full audio story in the soundscape that is the Giant Killer series. So thanks for listening. And back to you, Conway.
Omissions. Oops.
First off, in my last Talking TNT video, I flashed the latest chapter and explaining that it was written and that I was finishing reading it, and it was actually chapter 2. It was not chapter 3. Chapter 3 was written, but I just happened to grab that one, and so there was that. In my latest chapter, Ermine says this.
Unbeknown to most in Voss, including his best friend, Sherman, Mossack Dabbit was the son of Jean Dabbit.
Now, I want to point out that what I wrote was unknown to most in Voss, including his best friend. But for some reason, when I guess I was channeling Ermine and she said it, she said unbeknown to most. And she said it with such conviction that when I was finally editing it, I said, oh gosh, that's a mistake and I had better fix it, because at that moment I didn't believe unbeknown was a word. I had heard unbeknownst, but it seemed a little bit, forced, just than rather saying unknown. But however, I went to the Google machine and sure enough, Ermine was right. Unbeknown is a word and it means exactly what it is she meant. So the omissions on my part, forever doubting you, Ermine.
On the back burner.
Folks, as Bjork said in her song, I am an army of me. That is, I have some fantastic supporters and contributors, but for the most part, I do all of this stuff myself, so there's only so much that I can really do in a month. That said, I have so many ideas. There's so many things that I've written that I want to produce, that I want to share with you, so I'm trying to get as much of it out as I can. So on the back burner is me trying to give you a little bit of assurance that, these things are coming. First, IFO will be completed eventually. I was having a lot of fun with it, and I know there's a lot of listeners out there who are digging it. As soon as I got into the Theb Karu backstory, it was just, I was just on a completely different gear. So, and that just led me right back into book 2 of the Giant Killer series, and here we are. But not to fear. For those of you who are digging it, I just want you to know I will eventually finish IFO. Also, back in 2015-16, I was working on my own television show. Yes, can you believe it? And I worked with a partner of mine, and it was called Rock and Roll Salvation. We created a contest to make a sizzle reel for the show. We shopped it in Hollywood, and we actually got an offer for a deal from one of the biggest media companies in the world.
It's been said that rock and roll will never die. But nowadays, that'd be hard to prove. Our rock heroes had a clear path to follow. That's gone now. To discover the next generation of rock, we need to dig deep and find the best artists where they are and test what they're made of. Songwriting, recording, touring, blood, sweat, and tears, the unshakable will to promote yourself when no one else cares. Only then can you build an audience of millions. For the love of music, this is Rock and Roll Salvation.
There's a mountain called my life.
So the story that we're working on is the story about what happened and what went wrong, and how it ended up pretty much costing me everything, but that's okay, because I did it all for my love of rock and roll. Also, thanks so much, folks, for letting me share my music with you. I have an endless catalog of recordings that I really want to get out there and just put in some form that my listeners can digest at their leisure. So for those of you who heard the first two Zeppelin recordings that my Led Zeppelin cover band Led Blimpie did back in 2007, there's going to be a bunch more. I've got a few more recordings that we did in that period, plus some new original music that we wrote and that I'd like to share with you.
And now, your feature presentation.
Well, I'd like to welcome a very special guest. In fact, it's my first female guest to the Talking GK or TNT show. My very own daughter, Gwen. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Now, for those of you who are keeping score at home, Gwen has done from the very get-go some really important drawings for the show, including the Airmine portrait that you've seen a whole bunch, including in chapter 2. Plus, she did the original drawings of being in the guild with Dan. And wow, there's her drawing of Dan facing Moscow and the armless quell. Then, of course, she did the slide for the Giant Killers. Oh, mwah, beautiful. And lately she did the prize slide of Airmine within the Kadik Doa. Gwen, you are still a youngin', but your skills have so far surpassed anything that I was ever able to do. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. The crowd goes wild.
They do. Yay. So tell me, so how do you get your ideas for drawings from your father's garble?
It's mostly, I mean, you leave things pretty vague and open-ended. So I think it's definitely coming up with anything, I think is a hooray. So I think that's a plus, you know.
Well, I do give you a couple of hints, like like I was so happy that I remembered to say that in the Kadito, Airmine had emptied the bag of holding, so all of her life's possessions were on the floor. And man, you went to town with that.
I did. I love drawing garbage. I love it so much. Yeah, you'll notice if you're able to get close up in the piles of stuff, I put so many Easter eggs in there. Some of them are very obvious, and some of them are not. I had a fun time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whatever popped in my brain went down.
I loved there was a I think it was either a horse or a unicorn painting was one of them, right? What was it? Or was it just like an obscure painting of somebody?
It was actually Megamind. Yeah, I was kind of like, checks out. Yeah.
Yep. And I saw the little birdhouse was in there, and all of her gold and potions and books and things like that. And the level of detail that you went to, kid. I mean, wow. so far above and
It's my
beyond.
handy .9mm mechanical pencil. It's just
So your prize is now on the way to our winner, Mr. Kiwi Hawaii in Hawaii. Yeah.
yep.
Excellent. Well,
I
he's very
shipped it
excited.
away.
So Gwen, tell me a little bit more about what's on your artistic agenda. Like, what are you looking to,
Like
do?
generally or giant killer wise?
I guess in the near term, just things that you're inspired to do, and then maybe if you wanted to project your career ambitions a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I love creating characters and environments. I definitely think I kind of been sticking with the same airline I started drawing years and years ago. Just sort of like tweaking it where it needs to be and just sort of refining it as I go. So it's different. She's different in every picture, kind of.
Yeah,
we're getting there. I don't know. I intend on submitting one of my school projects to a show in the local city. So that'll be interesting.
Oh, cool. Which one in particular? Have I seen it yet? Or
Maybe I called it Dinner Time! ! And it's a really big picture. It's like 40 by 26 inches of a bacteriophage, really close up. It's basically a virus, really close up, and it's like charcoal and water soluble graphite, and there's like spoons and forks and butter knives around. It's pretty cool.
I think I would have remembered that one. So yeah.
Okay, I'll send you a picture.
All right.
But yeah,
please.
I'm gonna submit that, and we'll see if I can sell it for profit.
Hey, you're in business, kid. You're a professional artist already.
I don't know. We're trying.
Excellent. Well, for those of you who would like to know more about Gwen and her art, I am going to leave a link in the description for her Instabooks and Facetygrams, your Instagram account, right? So that if you can, please, she's my daughter, don't harass her, okay? But certainly you can follow her and see her brilliant work that she does. Well, Gwen, thank you so much for joining me on Talking TNT with Conway. And I'm so much looking forward to hearing and seeing your next contributions. And thank you for helping your dear old dad out with making this show possible.
No, I love making stuff, and I love the series. Yay! Oh, it's so good. Just seeing it develop over the years, and it's actually here, and it's real.
Yeah. Yes. Before I let you go, there's something I really should mention to my audience. And not only have you made all these fantastic contributions, and you're a full-time student, and I feel guilty about that even when I ask you to do stuff. But do you know that you're actually probably the number one person responsible for this book ever getting written in the first place? Because I don't know if you remember, but a long time ago, I was explaining all this idea. I was thinking, I think I want to write a book. And I told you and the rest of the kids the story. And you looked at me and you said, Dad, you must write that. You remember that?
Vaguely.
Probably like 2016-ish. And that's when you said that. And I did. So thank you for inspiring dear old dad to write it and for all you did to help me continue. I really do appreciate it, kid. I love you so much.
Oh, I love you too, Pops.
All right. Well, I'll let you get back to being a wonderful teenager with an exciting artistic life. And thanks for popping in and for joining the show.
Yes, of course.
Hey, do any of you folks have any artsy chops that you want to show off? Well, don't be afraid. Contact me. Hit me up on my email and let me know if you'd like to join our beta read artist team. That is, you'll get your first glance at the chapters as they're written, and you can have the opportunity to submit your own slides and help the production. I mean, it won't make you rich, but hey, gives you something positive to do and a way to immortalize yourself within this series.
Let's do the quiz.
In Chapter 3, Aermine travels to the Kadik Doa to find Lassiter and ask for his opinion on the Darkstone. During that scene, and before, I made a very, what I considered, overt homage to J.R.R. Tolkien. In fact, I repeated it, I think twice, maybe even 3 times within the scene. So, for any of you Tolkien fans out there, here's your chance to show off your Tolkien knowledge. What was it? What was my homage to Tolkien? If you think you know the correct answer, put it down in the comments below. If you are the first to answer correctly, you could win your very own copy of The Giant Killers and its first edition as signed by moi. You know how much I love your comments, so I do give hints. All you have to do is ask me in the comments below, and for everyone who's competing, you can look at everybody else's comments and questions and answers to help you solve it. It's just the first one who gets the answer right. Thanks so much for watching, my lovely listeners. Until next time, be good to one another always, and enjoy the summer.
This has been Talking TNT with Conway. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends.